In this video, I'm going to talk about output hypothesis. In the previous video, I talked about input hypothesis, the significance, importance of input in language acquisition. But input hypothesis also had several criticisms, and later on, one linguist created this output hypothesis as well. So in this video, I'm going to talk about firstly what the output hypothesis is all about, and it also has several criticisms, and I'm going to share with you my own thoughts regarding these criticisms towards output hypothesis, and finally I will share with you my own approach or style to write and to speak, which are output, but I'm going to share with you my way of output. So what is output hypothesis? Personally, I prefer this output hypothesis to input hypothesis. I mean, input is very important, but also output is, I believe, very important. So this hypothesis, output hypothesis, is coined by, again, linguist Meryl Swain, linguist. And she claimed that in order to acquire a language or foreign languages, input, not only input but also output is very important, necessary. Input meaning writing and speaking, etc., etc., right? And she claims that through output we can notice. For example, we can notice whether your output is correct or not, what you are producing is grammatically correct or not, and also through output and via communication, interaction, you can have feedbacks from your speaking partner, from native speakers, and which leads you to improve, helps you to improve the target language more. But the output hypothesis also has several criticisms. For example, at what timing we need to start output, and what kind of output we need to produce. For example, if I'm speaking English, but if I spoke English with the very incorrect grammars, the quality of output is very low, right? I mean, people wouldn't understand me as well. So what kind of output do we need to produce, and at what timing we need to start output? It's also a question. And also, it doesn't mean that by output we can 100% always can notice our output as well. For example, output notice meaning that when I want to say I am speaking English now, right? This sentence. In order to produce this sentence, I need to carefully pay attention to the sentence structure as well at the beginning. For example, I, the first person, singular form, be verb, but the first person singular form, not is or not are, and speaking because I am, it's a progressive form, right? And after the verb, the object comes, English, and now, right? But if you don't have enough input, and if you don't really pay attention to your output, you can end up with speaking with a very such an errors, like I am speak English or something. So it depends on person. I mean, I do pay attention to what I'm saying, but some people don't really pay attention to what they are producing grammatically, and they end up with being stuck with the errors all the time. And also, producing output doesn't necessarily mean that you will always get the feedbacks from native speakers. They don't give feedbacks because they want to stop the communication or conversation. If they stopped you at every mistake that you produce during the conversation, your communication wouldn't go smoothly, right? So I mean, notice and feedbacks are some kind of positive aspects of outputs, but it doesn't really go, the output doesn't really go with them all the time, all right? So these are some several criticisms against output theory, but my thought is that first of all, at what timing, what kind of output we need to produce? I believe that this is my thought. We need to, first of all, input and output both of them are very important, and we need to produce output in order to improve our language, target language. But we need to keep producing outputs, but at the same time with less grammatical errors. We need to not always, it's going to be very exhausting, but with attention to your own output, we need to keep producing output. What I'm saying is, when I speak, for example, English, I try to speak in the correct English, and if I thought some phrases that I produce are not correct, I ask for my friends if this saying is correct or not. So this is, I think, important way of producing output. You know, like any outputs are not okay. Only accurate outputs are important. But of course, we do make mistakes. But making mistakes are fine. But we need to pay attention to the mistake that we produce, and we need to constantly correct the mistakes in order to improve the language level more. So leave the discussion to the specialists or linguists. But all we need to do is keep producing outputs with kind of careful mind, so that we don't kind of get used to the incorrect language, target language. And what kind of outputs we can produce? Writing and speaking, right? In terms of writing, I think we can, as I introduced in the previous video on input hypothesis, we can, chat with your friends. In the target language, we can just write. This is a practice of writing, and also we get the message, which can be some kind of feedback as well, and which can be a practice of reading as well. And also, thanks to the modern technology, we have ChatGPT. So, for example, when I sometimes chat with my ChatGPT, and sometimes I put the prompt saying that asking ChatGPT whether my sentence that I produce is grammatically correct or not. So in this way, I can get input answers from ChatGPT, and also feedback on whether my output, my sentence, is correct or not, which can be feedback as well, right? And when it comes to speaking, voice message on application, for example, I use HelloTalk and Tandem, which are language exchange applications. I do write a lot of messages, but at the same time, I do voice message with my friends in foreign languages. It's also one of the speaking output, right? And when I say something, I sometimes feel like what I'm saying is correct or not, grammatically correct or not, or phonetically correct or not. So this actually helps me to notice about my output. And also, speak to yourself is also one of the things that we can do. When I take a shower, when I when I take a walk, or I don't know, when I have free time, I talk to myself in my brain, or just murmuring. But yes, these are the one of the examples of producing outputs. And if you are learning your target language because you want to speak the language in the future, sooner or later the time will come when you have to kind of give your courage to go to and speak to the native speaker in your target language. In this case, you have to be confident. You don't need to be afraid of your mistakes, but you need to be kind of, give yourself courage, and you need to encourage yourself to speak to the person, speak to the people in the target language, because that's the first step of speaking and being fluent in the language. So yeah, output sometimes needs some courage, but yeah, the time will come sooner or later, but we need to be ready, and that is the barrier that we need to overcome in order to achieve our goal. So in this video, I talked about output hypothesis and its kind of criticism and my thoughts, and also I shared with you my own approach and style to write and speak, which are outputs. And if you have any tips or advice in order to produce better outputs in writing or speaking, please leave your comments in the commentary. And that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. またね。